OmniRoute is an open-source project that promises 341 AI providers, 90 plus of them free, through a single endpoint, with a headline number of 1.51 billion free tokens a month. Today we're reading the actual source, installing it, and answering the question everyone asks about a tool like this. Is it actually free, or is there a catch? Strip away the marketing, and OmniRoute is a self-hosted AI gateway. You install it, it starts a local server on your machine, and it exposes one OpenAI-compatible endpoint. Every coding tool you already use, Claude Code, Cursor, Cline, GitHub Copilot, Codex, gets pointed at that one local address instead of directly at OpenAI or Anthropic. From there, OmniRoute decides, request by request, which of its 341 connected providers actually answers. Getting it running is genuinely one command. npm install -g OmniRoute, then just OmniRoute. That starts a dashboard on your machine and an API endpoint at localhost, port 20128/v1. Point any OpenAI-compatible tool at that address. Set the model to auto, and it already works. No API key required, because a couple of free, keyless providers are wired in by default. Behind that one endpoint sits a 4-tier cascade. Tier 1 tries your own paid subscriptions. Quota runs out. It falls to Tier 2, pay-per-use API keys. Budget hit. Tier 3, cheap providers. And if all of that fails, Tier 4 is always on. Free tier providers, as a permanent safety net. That routing decision isn't random. OmniRoute ships 19 different routing strategies, cheapest first, fastest first, cost optimized, and more, bundled into what it calls a combo. Set your model to plain auto, and it builds one of these automatically from whatever providers you've connected. And the whole thing is built to survive failure at 3 separate levels. A circuit breaker that stops hitting a provider that's throwing errors, a cooldown timer on any individual API key that starts failing, and a lockout on just one specific model if that model alone is misbehaving. One dead key doesn't take down the other 9 you've connected. Here's the part that's genuinely more than routing. Every request also passes through a token compression pipeline before it ever reaches a model. 12 separate engines, stacked, each doing a different job, deduplicating repeated content across turns, filtering noisy tool output, rewriting verbose prose into terse, technical language, all while leaving code, URLs, and JSON byte for byte untouched. Stack the 2 main engines together and OmniRoute claims an average of 89% fewer tokens sent per request, which, if it holds up in practice, stretches every rate limit and every dollar of API spend considerably further. So is it actually free? Layer 1, the software itself. Yes, genuinely. OmniRoute is MIT licensed, fully open source, and it runs entirely on your own machine. There's no OmniRoute cloud service to subscribe to, no OmniRoute account required, and your API keys are encrypted locally with AES 256, never sent anywhere the project controls. That part of the pitch is completely real. Layer 2 is the headline number, 1.51 billion free tokens a month. That figure isn't tokens OmniRoute gives you. It's the aggregate of documented free tiers across 42 separate third-party provider pools, re-audited every 2 weeks, and it moves in both directions as providers add or cut free access. Get the full number, and you're creating dozens of separate accounts with dozens of separate companies. And the number itself is inflated in month 1, closer to 2.1 billion with one-time sign-up credits, dropping to the steady 1.51 billion once those expire. And to be completely straight with you before that number gets you excited, OmniRoute does not sign you up for anything. It's not creating dozens of accounts on your behalf. 2 providers are pre-wired and keyless, so auto mode works the second you install it. But reaching anywhere near that billion-plus number means you, personally, visiting each provider's site, creating an account, generating an API key, and pasting it into OmniRoute's dashboard, one at a time. OmniRoute's job only starts after that legwork is done. It routes across whatever you've actually connected, nothing more. And here's the catch nobody puts in the headline. Read OmniRoute's own documentation, and it flags more than 15 of those providers by name as having terms of service that explicitly prohibit exactly this, proxying their API through third-party software. Google Anti-Gravity, Fireworks, Modal, several others. Their own terms ban this use case outright. OmniRoute discloses this openly, right in its docs, and still routes through them by default unless you turn that provider off yourself. So some of that free capacity is free in the sense that no money changes hands, but using it this way is, by the provider's own rules, against the terms you agreed to when you signed up. So what's the actual verdict? The tool itself is real, actively maintained, genuinely open source, and the routing and compression engineering underneath it is legitimately sophisticated. This isn't a weekend project. If you're already paying for 2 or 3 AI subscriptions and want one endpoint with automatic fallback between them, it does that well. But treat the 1.5 billion free token number as a theoretical ceiling, not a guarantee, and know that stacking every free provider it supports means accepting some of your accounts are running against those providers' own terms of service. Free doesn't always mean risk-free. Link to the repo and the install command are in the description. If you want more breakdowns of what these AI dev tools actually do under the hood, not just the marketing page, subscribe.